Thank you for listening to another episode of the Macros and Muscles podcast with your hosts, Aurora and Jenna.
Good morning and good day.
This is our first time on camera. So you actually got to see me say those famous words that I say every time we start a video.
They're famous.
Mm-hmm. All right. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. This is weird. We have to be super close.
I know. And we just had an awesome conversation, and it kind of had to do with some of the goals that we want to talk about to you and our own goals as well.
Yeah. So I was originally inspired. I follow someone by the name of, she's a doctor, Karen Norden, on Instagram. And the name of her company is the Brain Body Alliance, I believe. So definitely go check her out. She is a wealth of information on behavior. She's a behavior change coach. And she's just really, really good. Like the little, even her Instagram post, just the amount of like stuff she puts out there for free is just, will definitely make you think and help you out a lot. So one of the things she was talking about is instead of making a vision board for the new year, she is making a becoming board.
Ooh.
And I was like, whoa, this sounds pretty cool. So I think by now, like we all, at least women, men still don't know what vision boards are. Anthony was like, what?
They don't know. They don't need one. Come on.
Right. But I feel like most of us now know what a vision board is. So what makes a becoming board different is it's not just about, all right, so you take your vision board and you have like all these grand, pictures of like the big goals you want to achieve. And like, it could be like your dream house or your dream car and like, all those types of things. Right. But she has you not only do that, but in her becoming board, you put more of the process. So for instance, like she said, personally, she wants to make 2025 her most active year. So she actually just put pictures of like walkways and pathways along with, like dumbbells and like workout equipment and whatever, because she just wants to show what does the day-to-day look like to get you to your big goal, right? So for her, that would be like the pathway showing that she's walking. Then as you go through the year, you're supposed to replace those pictures that you took off of like Pinterest or in Canva and replace them with pictures of you actually doing the thing. So like, for instance, one silly one that I have on mine is that, because I already started this, I couldn't help it, is I wanted to do a dragon flag, that like ab thing where you're laying on your back and like, all right, how do I, where you're laying on your back and your head and like upper back is on the ground, but the rest of your body is up and like just hanging out there in the air.
A little bit of backwards planking.
Yeah, if you think, I mean, that's a good way to describe it. I don't really know how else to describe it. And I certainly, we can't really show you. We're strapped into a car.
Yeah.
But so eventually the goal is once I am able to do a dragon flag, I'm supposed to replace that picture I found off of Instagram of some dude doing a dragon flag with me actually doing it or close to it. You know what I mean? And so that is how you become on your becoming board, is by slowly here and there replacing those pictures with you in process.
I think that's really important because I feel like a lot of people will have a goal. It happens to me all the time, and it can be a lot of emotions because you have a goal, but you don't know exactly how to get there or what tools you need to be looking for or gathering to get there.
Right. Yeah. So, so I started mine already. I'm not done with it.
You got pistol squats on there too.
Yes, I've got pistol squats on there. I added in, a bunch of different things.
I have yet to make mine, but we got the goals all in here for right now.
Yeah. Do you want to share what some of your goals for 2025
I'll share. So I did my first bodybuilding show back in November 2023. This year has been Discovery year, and I am now looking really forward to competing in November 2025 next year. I'm like, what year are we in? What year is it? But yeah, so we're gonna start to get that going. build some muscle, and then
Mhm.
we'll get to the cut when we get there, when we're ready. But I'm feeling good about it.
That's
I'm
amazing.
excited, and I hope
Yes.
Jenna does it with me too. So hold her to it.
Yeah, so I had the same goal that I've been, thinking about for a while now of wanting to get on stage in 2025. And I feel like the fall is definitely
I feel like it's
a
a good.
time to do it.
You know why? Because you're gonna
Mhm.
be looking fly in the summer,
Yeah.
and you're gonna still be on your goals, be outside, getting that sun. It's all good, and then it's right before like the next set of holidays of
Mhm.
like when I did my first show, it was like right the week before Thanksgiving, so it was like an awesome reward to
Mhm.
do the show. Then Thanksgiving and then Christmas and all that. But oh, what was I just gonna say? Forgot.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, why do you want to be on the stage? What's the like? What's We have this goal of being on the stage,
Mhm.
and it is it's in line, but it's a little bit different than just being in the gym and being on top of your
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. So
It's a whole nother level.
I think it's a really fun goal to work
Mhm.
towards, and I think a miler to it is that it's a way to showcase and celebrate your progress where you
Mhm.
are, and especially it's a different environment where you can grow and whether like I like being on stage, but it's still uncomfortable for me to be on stage in a bikini, like that's in
Mm.
front of people, and it's fun.
You didn't look uncomfortable at all.
It's kind of in my like my prime, but
Mhm.
no, it's a fun thing because you get to know yourself more, and it's a good experience, I think. So what
Mhm.
I've done it.
Mhm.
So what makes you want to do it?
So I want. All right, this might sound bad
Hmm.
because it sounds like I don't believe in myself, but it's like I want to know if I can do it.
Yeah.
It sounds it's such a difficult thing to do, and I want to know if I can do it.
Well, I think you can, but it's a totally different thing than actually getting on that stage and doing it.
Mm,
And it's really just to prove to yourself that you can do it.
right.
And it kind of reminds me of, I think you posted it on your story, and it was a thing of like, why do why is it important for me to get to the gym, like no outside goals of like competing or anything, why is it important? And it said something like, well, because if I don't go, it shows I don't care, and like I don't deserve that, or like deserve that for myself, or think I can have it.
Mm,
But when I do go, it's just like an admission of that I do deserve what's best, or I see myself living my best life and I'm working towards that, something like that. So I see the stage as that too. It's not just getting your workout in; it's even more.
right. Because, I mean, it's not about the stage itself. Like, I'm not worried about the stage. I'm confident that, you know, because I feel like if you take posing and you take all of that stuff seriously and you work on those things, that you're not early, very early.
Hmm.
Like before the second you even think that you might possibly someday might want to compete, you need to start posing
Yeah.
that early.
Yes.
But so it's not the stage itself that I'm worried about. It's prep. I'm worried about the prep,
Well, and it's like a
you know?
challenge. It's like
It's a huge, yeah,
it,
that's the thing. It's like,
it's more than a goal of just like I want to like reach my 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 happy weight, or like
mm-hmm,
my maintenance weight. It's more than being like I just want to be an active person. It's
mm-hmm,
really focusing on so many different aspects in goals in like a macro level,
yeah.
because it's not just one thing. It's you're hitting every single mark. Are you perfect? No. Is
Mm.
anyone? Yes. No. um
But in prep, you kind of need to be
yeah, and
perfect. You have to, there's no room for error. There's no going off track. There's no,
and you know what
that's the
else?
scary part.
That, and you know what else prep reminds me of? It's one of those things where it gives you a lot of tools, and I kind of lost my train of thought again, but um it's just such a big challenge, and
Mm,
it holds so many things that are revealed to you. Oh, I was gonna say, I love leg day.
mm-hmm,
Why? Because I think it's the hardest. So I
mm,
had to trick my brain into doing the hard thing and liking it, to create that momentum to get towards it. And that's it's the same thing in the
mm.
prep
For
and
a
the
wellness
stage.
girl, you better love leg day.
I know, right? And so thank God it worked out that way for me in my brain. But it's the hard things in life. I've learned
Right.
that
Okay.
when I let myself do easy things, what really good comes from it? You don't feel that sense of achievement and power and empowerment that keeps building and letting you be more productive and reach more goals.
Yes.
Um,
That's the next thing I was going to say.
yeah,
That you have to do. We have to do hard
it
things.
shouldn't be easy, even though we want it
Yeah.
to be easy all the time.
And we should do things that we hate a little bit.
Yes.
You know, like maybe one hard thing that we really don't like to do every day.
And you know what else that reminds me of?
What?
You know how like I have like taken a break from the gym, like consistency this year and everything.
Mhm.
And now that I'm wanting to do this show, the last few days I've been thinking like, wow, I've been like having such a great rest period.
Mhm.
I just know that the universe provides an equal and opposite reaction for like every action. So I was like, oh God, that means something. I'm gonna have to be working really hard soon. And of course it makes sense because I do want to do another show and in prep. And I find life is definitely more fun that way. Even though it's harder,
Mhm.
I think it provides more like quality to it.
Yeah. And I think like, I mean, I've heard my coach say this before and other people on the team that the whole experience of prepping for stage, it actually like makes you, she said, like it makes you a better person in some ways because it's so hard and you learn things about yourself. And I know some people kind of use that as an excuse to kind of like, because when you get tired and cranky and irritable and you take it out on other people and stuff like that. But she is a huge advocate for you choose this lifestyle. You need to choose the way you treat people and never let that happen.
And I think we do have to remember it's a super privilege and luxury.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a luxury to be like, oh my God, my legs are so sore. Like, you know, in that moment, you might not feel like that, but it is a privilege. It's a luxury, and nobody else should be like paying for the consequences of our actions or anything like that.
So
like,
it's like not
that's
taking it out on your spouse.
immature.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
When, you know, everyone's feelings are
Mhm.
valid or all that, but you can't just blame everything on prep and I'm a bitch because I'm on prep. No, it doesn't
Right.
work like that.
Exactly. So
Maybe you're a bitch because you're a bitch.
all right. So, well, that kind of encompasses your why
Yes,
too,
yeah.
of just like the challenge of it, right?
I feel much better and more like sound when I know that I did something that was hard for me and I was able to overcome it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the thing. I just, yeah,
I
I
like-
want that.
In like figuring it
insane
out
challenge.
for yourself. Yeah, the insane challenge and being like, you have to jump over each of these humps every day.
Mhm.
And, you know, not that you haven't done the work, but the next day you're back at zero in a fun, productive, like, let's hit these goals way.
Right. It's like I actually
Not
had
in
this,
like, you haven't done nothing, but
I had this conversation with a client this week about winning the day.
Mhm.
And that's
Yes.
the thing. It's like you just have to win the day every day. But instead of looking at the whole big picture, you know, it's just how can I win the day? It's one day at a time. It's just like, you know, how the AA, how they, you know, say that.
Mhm.
That's the same concept.
I love
you know?
metaphors because it's like, yes, life is totally a marathon. And you can't think that little mini spurts of sprints here and there is really going to, I mean, sure, it can help, but you got to take it slow and not easy, slow and hard.
Right. So, circling back to that becoming board, I will try to link because she even has a free like instruction and then a little video on actually how to put this together in Canva. So even if you don't, even if you just have Canva free version, you can still do this. And she shows you exactly how to do that. But if you want to do it the old fashioned way on paper and magazine clippings, go for it. You know, that's been, I think I did that once.
I recently just cut out a bunch of Barbies from my Barbie magazine from when the Barbie movie came out. And I'm working on like a Barbie art board.
Oh,
just different.
You should merge this because you're Muscle Barbie.
Yes.
So
yes.
Muscle Barbie.
Buff Barbie.
Buff Barbie. I like that. I like that.
So what else with goals is important? I mean, of course, having the goal and then tools to get there. But sticking with them is important, right?
Okay. So here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people think about your goal right now. Maybe it's, you know, you're listening to this podcast. So maybe you have a goal of like losing X amount of pounds, or maybe you have a goal of It could be a strength related goal, or some type of, fitness or nutrition goal that you have in mind. Okay. And you have this, well, let's just use that of like, I want to lose 20 pounds or whatever it is, right? You have this picture of yourself in your life when you get to that goal. And that's great. You should visualize those things and think about what that's going to look like and whatnot. But then you keep not doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So what's missing? And I think what's missing is that we buy into the end goal. We buy into that image of us with, that weighs less and that is wearing that cute outfit that we don't have the confidence to wear now, and going to the beach and not feeling like, oh, I need to wear, this cover up and all of that. And that all sounds awesome. But we don't have buy-in for the process of getting there.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what scares me about prep, because I have buy-in for the stage. I
of course,
can
pretty
see
makeup,
myself.
glam.
Yeah, the glam, the hair, the makeup, the sparkly suit, strutting your stuff. But the day-to-day starving.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And I think it comes from whether it's prep or just like an overarching goal that you have. It maybe come from like not knowing how to get there, and also maybe still slightly not wanting fully to be in that daily process.
Right. Because you have to want the process as much as you want the end goal. You have to. And if you don't, that's why you're not reaching your goal. So maybe your goal needs to change. Okay. That might actually be a possibility.
And your goal can change.
Yeah. Like, and here's a prime example of this. Let's say you have someone, and I talk about like this concept of a person,
Our
because I
imaginary
hear it. I know, because I talk to these real people that are just like this every day. So you take a healthy weight woman, but she just wants to look even better. She wants to get to lose that last 5 or 10 pounds so that, she can show those abs and whatever. And she's not able to get there. So you lay out the process for getting there. And then she's like, okay, well, I really don't want to give up date night. And I really don't want to give up having ice cream with my kids. And I really don't want to, weigh everything to the gram, and, you know what I mean? And kind of do what it takes to get those last 5 or 10 pounds off that are unnecessary because you're already healthy. And so the goal changes. Maybe she's like, you know what? Abs aren't worth it. I'm happy with my life. I'm healthy. I have balance, and I can enjoy these times with my family. I need to let go of wanting to get to that next level. So sometimes that might be, your situation. You might realize, okay, I don't have buy-in to the process. So maybe I need to adjust my goal. Maybe my goal doesn't need to be this extreme. You know what I mean? Like if that same woman put her time and energy into a strength goal of like, okay, I want to be able to do 10 unassisted pull-ups, she's actually going to get closer to what she wanted in the beginning anyway.
Exactly.
Than if she went the restriction mode of like, let me just try to get smaller.
Yes.
A lot of,
And then when you change like the viewing of how you can get to that result with changing the wording or like the way how to get there, it can totally change the whole entire path and the emotions involved. Because, if I was talking about one of my strength goals, which is like when I was training consistently, I could, do some warm-up sets and squat like, 145, which was like my body weight at the time. So that was like my like normal. But I don't think like I would even want to, like I probably could, but I wouldn't want to do that. Like just try and lift 145 pounds, even if I did a bunch of sets, because my body's just not really like, I don't want to force that. I would rather build up gradually again and get to that strength point than like hurt or strain myself.
Exactly.
And if I, want to change my body composition a little bit, having that strength goal, I think would be more helpful than saying, oh, I want to lose like, 10 pounds or something, because if I'm working out consistently, that's what's going to get you there, along with, your consumption.
Right. So when you're planning your goal, you have this goal in mind, and then you have to map out what it's going to take to get there. And if you really don't like what it's going to take to get there, then we need to reevaluate. But maybe it could just be a matter of, I can do some of these things, and some of these things I don't really love. But how about just giving your all to those parts that
you can
feel
do.
that you can do
Yeah.
comfortably?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Because then what are you going to have in the end? You're going to be closer than you were in the beginning.
Mhm.
Anyway. You're going to be closer to that goal regardless,
Mhm.
even if you just do some of the things, and you'll be healthier for it too. So
Yeah, and it reminds me of like, if like, math and history, if you're better at one, let's say math is food and history is going to the gym. If you're not as good at the food yet, just keep going to the gym and working on that and moving your body. You'll feel better, and it might make more sense, or things might be clearer to you on the food part of things as you continue your journey. And you don't have to know all the right answers before you get started. I find that you learn more and more about what you don't know and do know, and how to strengthen each of those things as you go for it. So
right,
can't go wrong once you get started.
yeah,
But you do have to start.
Right. And one last thing I want to mention too is, don't go overboard with your goal setting, and try to have a goal for every aspect of your life. Like, because if you look at a lot of the stuff online, they'll be like, you need to set a health goal, a relationship goal, a financial goal, a life goal, and then and then reset those for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, and it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is so overwhelming.
And that reminds me, I was telling Jenna about my journal entry from 2017. And so that's like 7 years ago. I was going to say, think about not even just your monthly goals, and not in a scary way, because I know years can sound scary, especially when I was like a little younger. I couldn't even picture myself at like this age. But now that I have this time period, I'm like, wow, when I wrote this journal entry in 2017, it's 2024 now, and I was talking about my health and fitness goals, and it's like, wow, I have surpassed some of them, and I'm still striving towards a lot of them. And it's just so interesting that was 7 years ago, and it's so weird. So not that you have to think about 7 or 5 years ahead, but think about how you want yourself to be in those amount of years. Because now that I have those 7 years to look back on, I can kind of be like, what's the next 7 years going to look like, and how do I want to find myself within those years.
Oh, and one more thing, even though I said that probably twice. The last thing was, I heard someone talking about writing a letter to yourself, to your past self, a year from now. So I did this.
Oh, I gotta do that. I gotta do that.
But here's the catch. So Jenna, in the end of December 2025, wrote a letter to me now. Right?
Yeah. Or
no, wait.
You're writing it to yourself last year.
No, I'm writing it to myself as of myself next year.
Oh, okay.
So like, I'm sitting in December 2025, and I wrote myself a letter, but basically you're supposed to, like, everything that you wanted to accomplish, you already did, and you're congratulating yourself for it.
I wrote one of those letters, I think, in like college for like a class one time. They're like,
but here's the catch.
I graduated college, this, that, something like that.
There's a catch. You're supposed to read it every day.
Oh.
Yeah. You're supposed to read it every day.
Oof.
And act like, so it's like, I've heard about like Olympic athletes, you've heard like where you're supposed to like visualize yourself running across the finish line, right?
Yes.
Or something like that, or visualize yourself winning the fight, whatever it is that you're doing, right? So same concept here. You're supposed to really believe that you already accomplished these things, and you're living that life. You're doing the things every day. Like, so this kind of all goes with the becoming board.
I feel like that's helpful.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds like a little
woo-woo.
Yeah.
But I think
not even woo-woo, just like a little like make myself cringe about myself. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So I think we should do it, and I think we should like put it right with our becoming board and try it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then maybe next year we like re-air this episode and we'll be like, it worked.
That would be so cool. Future tellers right here.
Right? All right. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
And watching.